G'day YouTubers, I will preview this week's round of the AFL games. Before I start, it will be muchly appreciated if you can subscribe, comment and like. Every subscriber will be very much appreciated. Alright, let's get the show started. Let's go! Yeah! My round 14 summary in the first game, I selected the Lions to beat the Saints. Yeah, got that right. Second game, I tipped Dockers to beat the Doggies. Pathetic. Western Bulldogs won by 67 points. The third game, I tipped the Hawks to beat Dusty's 300k. Yeah, got that correct. The fourth game was a no-brainer. Tipped the Swans to beat the Crows. The Swans done easily after the game was equal at halftime. In the fifth game, I tipped the Magpies to beat North Melbourne. Yeah, Collingwood were trailing by 9 goals in the third quarter. And the last game, I tipped the Power to beat the Giants. Damn it, no good. Therefore, I tipped 4 out of 6 correct, and my season tally is 76 for season 2024. Hopefully I'll do better next round. One Brownlow votes after round 14 are in top spot is N. Dacos, Collingwood with 22 votes, followed by I. Heaney, Sydney with 21 votes, and in third spot is A. Trelaw, Bulldogs with 20 votes. These are my top 3 leaders in the Brownlow votes. Let's preview round 15 games. The first game on the Friday night is between Carlton and Geelong. The players in the mix for Carlton are Young, Carroll and Surfing. The players in the mix for the Cats are Dangerfield, Stanley, Arthur and Closely. The players injured for the Blues are Martin, Sarah, Motlop, Pitnet, Doherty, Savani, whereas the players injured for the Cats are Wiltshire and Cam Guthrie. If you compare the ruck midfield setup for both sides, for Carlton, in ruck you got DeConning with the midfielders of Cripps, Kennedy, Hewitt and Walsh. For the Cats, you have Dick Hassan ruck with the midfielders of Holmes, Henry, Duncan and Clark. Hence, if we compare the two teams for their ruck mid setup, in ruck you got the athletic DeConning against athletic Class. I reckon both of these players will even against each other because they're pretty good around the ground. In the midfield, you got big body, tall inside mid Cripps against the speedy Holmes. Cripps will win that area in terms of contested possessions. Holmes is more on the outside. They would give the tips to the Cripps. In terms of next players, Kennedy against Henry. That's a good matchup. I expect Kennedy's strength of the inside midfield. We can also tag. So I'll give the choice to Kennedy. And the third player, Hewitt against Duncan. Hewitt is a good acquisition from Sydney, and Duncan is an experienced player. Say those two players are even. And then we got Walsh against Clark. Walsh is a superstar against Clark, who's only been an assistant for a few years. We expect Walsh to dominate that field. I left Danger out as he's just coming back from a hamstring injury and he won't be at peak 100% fitness. Based on the two midfields, I expect the Carlton mids to dominate and provide enough forward inside 50 to the twin towers of Kono and McKay. And therefore, based on analysing the midfield, I'm going to tip Carlton to win this game. The next game is between Port Adelaide and the Brisbane Lions. The players in the mix for the Power are Finlayson, Dixon and Jones. Players in the mix for the Lions are Lyons, Pryor and Robson. Players injured for the Power are Rioli, Jackson and Al Pepper. For the Lions, they will be missing Ashcroft, Garda, McCarthy, Coleman and Dode. Last week, the Power was very disappointing and lost to the Giants, whereas the Lions beat St Kilda on the Friday night game. If we compare the ruck midfield setup between both sides, in ruck for the Power, you got Soldo with the midfielders of Butters, Horn, Francis, Wines and Drew. I've left Breezy out for the interim. For the Lions, their ruck midfield consists of McInerney in ruck with Cluggage, Neil, Dunkley and Garrett Berry as the midfield. Therefore, if we compare the two, Soldo against McInerney, that's a good battle. Say we give the chocolates to Soldo. And in midfield, you got Butters against Cluggage. Butters provides more outside run and inside to Cluggage. So we say Butters wins that position. Then you got Horn Francis against Neil. Horn Francis is young and the second year player against the two-time Brownlow medalist Neil. I expect Neil to win the inside. Horn Francis is an inside-outside, but at this stage of his career, he's more outside. They would give the chocolates to Neil. Then Wines, inside powerful midfield against Dunkley, who's also inside midfield. Say that's even between the two players. And then William Drew, inside mid against Garrett Berry, who's more outside. Say we give that to Berry. It's pretty even between those two midfielders. So I'll say that's even. And the Power was misfiring last week, where they didn't score that many goals against the Giants, and compared to the Lions, whose forwards of Hipwood and Danaher scored plenty against the Saints. However, if Dixon returns, he straightens up the team with his hard forward pressure and his powerful straight overhead marks and crashing the packs. Therefore, given that Pollard was disappointing last week and the Lions were pretty good against the Saints, I'm expecting a reaction from Port. The third game of the week is between GWS and Sydney, the Battle of the Bridge Derby. The players in the mix for the Giants are Keith, Pitling, Bryson, and Cumming. For the Swans, their players in the mix are Hamling, Laddams, and Francis. The players injured for the Giants are Perryman, Bruce, Kennedy, Leake, Cogniglio, and Nash. The players injured for the Swans are Mills, Reed, Sheldick, and Parker to suspension. Last week, the Giants beat the Power, and the Swans beat the Crows. Both teams beat the two South Australian sides. If we compare the ruck midfield set for both sides, for the Giants, you got Briggs in ruck with the midfielders of Tom Green, Kelly, Whitfield, and Callaghan. For the Swans, you got Grundy in ruck with Jordan, Rowbottom, Chad Warner, and Gordon in ruck. Therefore, if we compare the two, Briggs against Grundy, I expect Grundy to dominate that position and win. Then in the midfielders, you got Tom Green inside mid against a hard midfielder in Jordan. So you expect Green to slightly win that edge or slightly win that position. Then the next midfield of Kelly against Rowbottom. Kelly is an elite runner with his great outside kicking. Rowbottom is also outside player but can also find the ball. They would give the chops to Kelly. And then next you got Whitfield against Chad Warner. Whitfield is a good runner as well, but Chad Warner's elite inside and especially with his outside game, and he's a goal kicking mid. They would give the chocolates to Chad Warner. And then you got young Callaghan against Gordon. Callaghan is a young and upcoming player, but Gordon, elite, one of the best kickers in the league I've seen. Point of difference, so he's got X factor and can cut up opposition. Looking at the two mids, I give the chocolates to Swans, and that's excluding other players like Heaney, Papperley. They've just got so much depth in their midfield. And also, the Swans have more avenue to scoring. The Giants, they have Hogan and young Cadman. The Swans got plenty of forwards. McDonald, Amadi, Papperley, Haywood, Heaney. Based on the squad of Sydney, and they're still missing the Captain Mills injury, I'm going to tip the Swans to win this derby. The next game of the week is between Melbourne and North Melbourne. The players in the mix for the D's are Strop, Howes, and Fullerton. For the Kangaroos, their players in the mix are Lazaro, Dersma, Bergwin. The players injured for the D's are Melcham, Lever, Bargo, Hunter, and Petrarca for all of this season. Players that are injured for the Roos are Logue, Goda, Simpkin, and Common Jones. If we compare the ruck midfield set on both sides, for the D's in ruck you got Gawn with the midfielders of Oliver, Winey, Rivers, and Sparrow. For the D's you have Xavier in ruck with the midfielders of Davies, Giacchi, Scott, Tucker, and Wardlaw. If we compare the two, Gawn against Xavier, I expect Gawn to dominate that position. Then the midfielders of Oliver and Davies, Giacchi, say that's even between the two. Then we got Winey against Scott. I expect Winey to win that position. And then you got Rivers against Tucker. Both players can run with the ball. Say that's even between the two. And then the final piece is Sparrow of Melbourne against Wardlaw. Wardlaw is a young top draftee who will be a star in the future. but at this stage his career is still underdeveloped. Therefore, I expect Sparrow to win that position. And therefore, Melbourne's got an edge in the midfield. Look, Melbourne were close in the last 2 games where they beat West Coast in a close game 2 weeks ago and they lost to Collingwood. However, they were leading by 54 points. Just due to Melbourne's quality of players that they have on the field and their roster, even though the D's have only won 1 game in 5, I'm still going to tip the D's to win this game. North Melbourne are a young team and will be good in the future, and Melbourne still have plenty of experienced professional players in their team. The next game is between Essendon and West Coast. Players in the mix with the Dons are Satterfield and Shield. The players in the mix for the Eagles are Hull, Carley and Piscatelli. The players injured for Essendon are Draper, Parrish, Dersma, Hobbs and mid-season recruit El Hawaii. The players injured for the Eagles are Allen, Hunt, Hewitt, Long and Reid is suspended until round 16. If we compare the ruck midfield setup of both sides, you got Goldstein in ruck with the midfields of Stringer, Perkins, Merritt and Caldwell. For the Eagles, their ruck midfield setup is of Williams in ruck with the midfields of Gimby, Kelly, Jay Williams and Chesser. If we compare the two, Goldstein against Williams, Goldstein is an experienced ruckman, so I expect him to dominate that position and win the hit-outs. Then the midfields, you got Stringer against Gimby. Stringer is very powerful compared to Gimby, who's a hard inside player but is only a second-year player. I expect Stringer to win that position. Then you got Archie Perkins against Kelly, both outside runners, and Kelly is a class player, former All-Australian. I expect Kelly to win that position. Then you got Merritt, an All-Australian, against Jay Williams. I expect Merritt to dominate that position. And then finally, you got Caldwell against Jan Chesser. In their stage of their career, I expect Caldwell to dominate against Chesser. So therefore, Essendon has an advanced ruck midfield setup. And given that the game is played in Essendon and West Coast has to travel away and Harley Reid is suspended, I'm going to tip the Bombers to win this game. The last game of the week is between Freo against Gold Coast. Players in the mix for the Dockers are Taberner, Brody, Erasmus. For the Suns, their players in the mix are Ellis, Casbolt, Day and Broderick. The players injured for the Dockers are O'Distral, Cox, McDonald and Corbett. The player injured for the Suns is Weller. Last week, Fremantle was very disappointing against Western Bulldogs, where they lost by 10 goals plus. And Gold Coast had to bye. From last week's tips, the teams that had to bye last week, Western lost, and Gold Coast had to bye last week. If we compare the ruck midfield setup of both sides, for Freo, you got Darcy in ruck with the midfields of Young, Sarong, Brayshaw and Fife. For Gold Coast, you got the ruckman of Witts with the midfields of Anderson, Rao, Wheeler and Flanders. If we compare the two ruck midfield setup, you got Darcy and Witts. Witts is a good ruckman. So is Darcy. I will expect Witts to dominate. However, Fremantle will have a gun ruck in their full line with Luke Jackson. So they will double team Witts and one-on-one Witts would dominate against Darcy, but with the tag team of the Fremantle rucks, I expect the tag team of Fremantle ruckmans to dominate. Then, if we look at the midfields, Young against Anderson, both good outside players. Young with his elite king, so is Anderson. We give that to Young. Then you got Sarong against Rao. Sarong is a hard worker who can run all day. Rao is a bullocking inside mid. He gets a lot of contested ball but doesn't get many uncontested possession. At their stage of their career, I'll give the chocolates to Sarong. Then you got Brayshaw against All-Australian Miller. That's going to be a good matchup. Both are good players. Brayshaw can run all day. Miller inside and can go outside and kick the ball. They would give that to Miller. And then you got Nat Fife and Flanders. Nat Fife is still doing reasonable well for Fremantle. And Flanders is getting a lot of possessions, but I'll give the chocolates to Fife. Looking on paper, Fremantle just has the edge in the midfield. Given that Gold Coast have a terrible away record, they've won most of their games at home, but not many on the road. And this is a long trip. To fly from Queensland to Perth, it's a long trip, more than 5 hours. Therefore, I'm going to tip Fremantle to win this game. My summary of my words for round 15 are: Carlton beat Geelong, power to beat the Lions, the Swans should beat the Giants, the Dinghies over the Kangas, the Bowlers to beat West Coast, and the Dockers give Gold Coast the hee-ho. Thank you for watching my show. If you like my show, please subscribe, comment and like. Every subscriber will be appreciated. Hope to see you again next time. See ya.